Ghana Cocoa Marketing Company UK Limited, a subsidiary of the Ghana Cocoa Board, as part of the celebrations to mark Ghana's 50th anniversary of independence from British colonial rule on Friday, 9th March 2007, organized the Ghana Cocoa Day Celebration Seminar at the City Hall, London. The event, which brought together various players in the cocoa industry from both Ghana and the international markets, as well as friends and well-wishers to dialogue and debate, was themed 50 Years of Ghana Cocoa Industry, where we stand today. Present at the event were senior managers from Ghana Cocoa Board, including Mr. William Mensah, Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Administration and Finance, Mr. Dramani Igala, Chief Executive Officer, Cocoa Marketing Company Ghana Limited, and Mr. Edem Amagashi, Manager, Ghana Cocoa Marketing Company UK Limited. Also present was the Ghana High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and other senior members of staff from the Ghana High Commission. The event was chaired by the Ghana High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, His Excellency Anan Achin Keto. The seminar had 6 key speakers who were tasked to give insight into the Ghana cocoa industry. Speaking on the topic, a review of 50 years of Ghana's cocoa industry, where we stand today, was Mr. Isaac Osei, Chief Executive Officer, Ghana Cocoa Board. Mr. Paul Davis, Chairman of Federation of Cocoa Commerce, FCC, spoke on the role of the industry and trade in sustaining Ghana's cocoa economy, the past, the present and the future. Rosemary Imodi, who represented the Mayor of London, spoke on the Mayor's commitment to fair trade, whilst Mr. Philip Sigley, Chief Executive Officer of FCC, spoke on propelling Ghana into a middle-income country. Is fair trade the key? Dr. Lawrence Akwete, Director, Seagull Trade and Development Consultancy, also spoke on propelling Ghana into a middle-income country. Is fair trade the key? Sophie Trancham, Managing Director, Divine Chocolate Limited, spoke on the benefits and effects of the fair trade farmer-owned business model to the local farmer. The MC for the event was Mr. Paul Adomochiri.
This is the Ghana at 50 Cocoa Day program. This year Ghana is 50 years, celebrating 50 years of independence. And cocoa has played an important role in the life and the development of the people of Ghana. Since 1897, when cocoa arrived in Ghana, the people of the Gold Coast and later Ghana and their governments have taken cocoa very seriously. Today we are celebrating Cocoa Day as part of Ghana at 50.
In his open speech, His Excellency Mr. Anan Achin Keto said there could not be any meaningful celebration of an event as significant as Ghana's 50th anniversary since independence from British colonial rule without acknowledging the impact that the cocoa industry has made to the economy of Ghana.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my friends, there cannot be meaningful celebration of an event as significant as the 50th anniversary of Ghana's independence that omits to take account of the progress that Ghana has made in socio-economic development. Nor, I think, can there be any meaningful write-ups of the Ghanaian economy and social engineering that does not take account of the role of the cocoa industry.
He was pleased to announce to all, especially Ghana's trading partners and stakeholders in the cocoa industry, that Ghana's production of the quality premium cocoa beans was at its record highest.
It is certainly a matter of considerable encouragement for all Ghanaians, for trading partners and for stakeholders of the industry to know that Ghana's cocoa production is now at its highest level ever, and that the scope for expansion is very bright.
To this, Ambassador Cato applauded the farmers of Ghana whose sweat and toil has brought about this increased production. He also commended the government of Ghana for their bold initiative to ensure that the welfare of the farmer is being taken care of.
I think it is proper that due recognition and credit ought to be given to the cocoa farmers of Ghana for their resilience, for their dedication to the industry. And as you know, in the last couple of years, government has been mindful of the role and the contribution of the farmers and progressively has been improving what they are taking home out of their sweat and toil.
After His Excellency's speech, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Mr. Isaac Osei, spoke on looking at the cocoa industry, where we stand today and where it's going for the future. Mr. Osei, in his speech, gave the historical background to the cocoa industry in Ghana.
The cocoa industry in Ghana has been the mainstay of Ghana's economy. Cocoa has been grown commercially in Ghana for 128 years, since Tete Kwashi introduced it in 1879. But there have been a series of reforms starting early in the 20th century, and this led to the establishment first of the West African Cocoa Control Board, covering the 4 West African colonies of the British Crown at that time. However, as a result of increasing production in Ghana, the Cocoa Marketing Board, then Gold Coast Cocoa Marketing Board, was established in 1947. At independence in 1957, there was a name change for the country and a name change for the Cocoa Marketing Board. It became Ghana Cocoa Marketing Board. In the 80s, we simply decided that Cocoa Board was not just about marketing, and so the name was changed again to Ghana Cocoa Board, which is the name that we use today.
Mr. Osei gave a snapshot of the importance of the cocoa industry to Ghana. He said the cocoa sector accounts for a range of 30 to 35% of the total merchandise export earnings.
Just to give you a snapshot of what cocoa means to the economy of Ghana today. First, the sector accounts for about ranging 30 to 35% of total merchandise export earnings.
Mr. Osei went further to say that the industry provides jobs for about 720,000 farmers and farm families, with about 3 to 4 million people benefiting directly at the various levels of the industry's supply chain.
In addition to this, cocoa provides jobs for 720,000 farmers, farm families. If you think of the dependents, we are talking about 3 million people directly involved in the cocoa industry at the farm level.
On the historical trend of production, Mr. Osei said in 1891, Ghana was exporting 36.3 tons of cocoa, rising to a peak in 1964-65 of 580,000 tons, thus making Ghana the leading producer of the crop with a global output of about 33%.
In 1891, Ghana exported 36.3 tons of cocoa. But this rose to a peak of 580,000 tons in 1964-65. According to
Mr. Osei, output dropped for over 2 decades, spanning mid-1960s to mid-1980s, with an all-time low of 158,956 tons in 1983-84.
The 2 decades spanning the mid-60s to the mid-1980s saw output dropping to an all-time lowest figure of 158,956 tons.
In order to reverse the trend, the government had to take action by fighting cocoa diseases and implement pest control programs, implementation of high-tech programs, which is the application of nutrients to assist the cocoa tree to grow, payment of higher remuneration to farmers for their produce, payment of bonus to farmers at the end of every season, and sustaining the scholarship scheme for wards of farmers.
The government in August of 2001 implemented a program which has been known by the acronym CODAPEC, or Cocoa Diseases and Pest Control Program. This program was to enable Cocoa Board to procure the fungicides and insecticides which we have used successfully to treat these diseases of the cocoa tree. In addition to the CODAPEC program, Ghana Cocoa Board itself decided that the varieties we had in the country, mainly the Amazonian and other types which took 5 to 8 years to fruit, could not lead Ghana out of the difficulties that we had with. And as a result, the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana, a division of Ghana Cocoa Board, embarked on research activities which have today led to the development of high-yielding, drought-resistant varieties, seedlings, which we are now currently using in many parts of the country. We have, through our research, identified various fertilizers which we can use in our country. In order to provide the incentive structure for the cocoa farmers in our industry, government decided that the producer prices ought to be remunerative. And from a level of about 30%, between 30 and 40% of the FOB price, government decided that at least 70% of the net FOB should be paid to our farmers. And today, Ghana Cocoa Board is paying 72% of the net FOB to our farmers. The Cocoa Board scholarship scheme for wards of farmers has received a new life as Cocoa Board pays 15 billion cedis every year into the scholarship fund.
This intervention strategy by the government, according to Mr. Osei, saw a reverse in the downward trend in output. Production today is reaching all-time record levels of 736,975 tons in 2003-2004 and 740,458 tons in 2005-2006.
So these interventions have created a better incentive structure. And what has transpired over the last few years is that Ghana has been able to increase cocoa twofold from 2001, where the level was about 360,000 tons, to last year when we reached an all-time high of 740,000 tons of cocoa.
On future growth of the industry, Mr. Osei said the target set for production in the medium term was 1 million tons. To achieve this, he emphasized that the Ghana Cocoa Board will continue to support farmers to adopt effective agronomic practices to increase the productivity of their farms, with emphasis on intensive method of production through disease and pest control, fertilizer application, supply of early bearing and high-yielding planting materials for rehabilitating old farms.
With this basis, Cocoa Board will continue with the diseases and pest control scheme. We intend to apply fertilizers to at least 40%, and we'll increase this year on year over a 3-year period. Furthermore, we intend to supply early bearing, high yielding planting materials for the rehabilitation of our old farms.
Mr. Osei said the internal marketing of the crop will continue to be liberalized. However, the government will enforce the guidelines governing the system.
I want to emphasize that the internal marketing system, which is a liberal marketing system permitting 18 private companies to compete one with another, will remain in force. Cocoa Board will not directly buy cocoa, but we are looking at the system, the way in which we operate it, and we are going to review it with hopefully to improve for the benefit of the Ghanaian economy.
Mr. Osei firmly stated that external marketing will continue to be the preserve of the cocoa marketing company. He also said Cocoa Board will continue to take advantage of the potential demand from new emerging markets of China, Turkey and other African countries. He also assured the FCC that Cocoa Board will continue to exploit the use of commodities futures and other risk management tools to meet the new challenges facing the industry.
With respect to external marketing of cocoa, we have realized on careful analysis that the only way for Ghana is to ensure that the external marketing of cocoa will continue to be the preserve of the cocoa marketing company. Ghana Cocoa Board is at the moment positioning itself also to take advantage of the new emerging markets of China, Turkey, Cuba, and indeed some other African countries who have approached us.
Still speaking on the future growth of the industry, Mr. Osei said Cocoa Board will continue to take quality assurance very seriously and ensure that good pre- and post-harvest practices are implemented to ensure the continual production of the premium quality Ghana cocoa.
One area which is extremely important for us in Ghana is the quality of our cocoa.
He also emphasized that Cocoa Board was ready to respond appropriately to the changing market trend so as to maintain Ghana's reputation as a producer of the world's #1 premium quality beans.
We will continue with the good pre-harvest and post-harvest practices. These, we believe, are the key determinants in the production of premium quality Ghana cocoa. And our cocoa is being sold as Ghana cocoa beans. We are positioning ourselves as such. It will always be good fermented Ghana cocoa beans. With respect to infrastructural development, Ghana Cocoa Board this year, or getting end of last year, we opened a new 50,000 ton capacity warehousing facility at Tema, a modern warehouse at Tema. Anybody who has come to Accra in recent times will see a different cocoa house. Cocoa House, I'm pleased to tell you, has been fully refurbished, and our partners can come and discuss business with us in a very congenial atmosphere.
On local processing and consumption of cocoa, Mr. Osei said,
we are also looking at our local processing capacity and the consumption of cocoa, not just within Ghana, but also in the West African sub-region. Government has a policy in place to contribute to support the processing companies. We wish to assure those processing companies who are already in Ghana that Ghana Cocoa Board will give them preference when it comes to light crop beans. This we are committed to do by the arrangements that we have put in place for our companies who are working with us. Today we have the biggest chocolate manufacturing company producing intermediate products in Ghana, Barry Callebaut. We also have Cargill cutting the salt to build a 60,000 ton facility, which hopefully will be opened next year.
On the growing issue of child labor, Mr. Isaac Osei had this to say.
Many of you are familiar with the Harkin Engel protocol, a protocol which many members of the cocoa industry have signed up to. The senator and the congressman came about this protocol as a result of concerns about child labor on cocoa farms in the cocoa growing areas of West Africa. We wish to say that Ghana is not in self-denial at all. We do know that the prevalence of child labor on cocoa farms in Ghana is minimal. However, because it is a concern of the market, we have established in Cocoa Board a child labor desk to engage itself in sensitization programs throughout the cocoa growing areas of our country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I just want to emphasize that we are looking forward in Ghana to increase production. But increased production must be backed by the institutional structures that we are trying to put in place. Increased production with quality assurance is what Ghana offers the industry as we look forward into the future. Mr. Chairman, I thank you.
After Mr. Osei's speech, Mr. Paul Davis, chairman of the FCC, spoke on the role of the cocoa industry and trade in sustaining Ghana's cocoa economy.
It's important to remember how inextricably entwined the Ghana cocoa sector is within every facet of the cocoa trade.
Mr. Davis started by affirming the confidence the chocolate manufacturers all over the world had in Ghana's cocoa quality.
There is now not a continent on the planet where at least a proportion of quality chocolate manufacturers do not rely solely on the integrity, the quality and the reliability of cocoa shipments from Ghana.
He said this was because of the long-standing reputation for reliability, quality and excellence Ghana's cocoa has achieved.
It cannot be overstated how important that long-standing reputation for excellence and trustworthiness is within the cocoa world.
Mr. Davis went further to explain that any experienced dealer in the crop will fully be aware of the care that every chocolate manufacturer will take to ensure that they get the best quality produce for the reliability and quality of their product to be maintained. Mr. Davis was proud to say that Ghana's cocoa has historically stayed on the top of the pyramid for quality and constancy in the cocoa market. He attributed the huge demand of Ghana's premium cocoa beans by the international communities to the outstanding work done by the Ghana Cocoa Marketing Company in raising awareness of the product across the globe.
Any experienced merchant will tell you that chocolate manufacturers will never be shy nor slow to reject either unreliable shipments or jettison unreliable suppliers. Chocolate manufacturers will do everything that they can and need to protect the dependability, the uniformity and the general good name of their products. Ghana's cocoa has stood throughout its history, as it does now, at the very top of the pyramid of quality and constancy in our market. This is a remarkable achievement and is rightly very much admired around the world by the cocoa trade and the industry. So we thank you very much.
After Mr. Paul Davies' speech, Rosemary Imodi, a representative from the Mayor of London's office, spoke on the Mayor's commitment to fair trade. In her opening speech, Rosemary Imodi took the opportunity to welcome all to the London City Hall.
On behalf of the Mayor of London, I'd like to welcome you all to City Hall, and I'd also like to acknowledge the real reason why this gathering has been called together, which is the 50th anniversary of Ghana's independence. I think it's very important, certainly for us, as the Mayor begins to roll out his programme, which acknowledges to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade throughout the British Empire.
She went further to acknowledge the role Ghana has played in leading the way for other African countries.
We acknowledge the role that Ghana has always played in Africa in general, and in particular West Africa. Ghana has always been at the forefront, leading the way for other African countries.
On Ghana's economic ties with London, Ms. Imodi said Ghana enjoyed a rich cultural, social and economic links with London.
London and Ghana enjoy a rich cultural history and relationship and commercial links.
She added that Ghana was UK's 4th largest export market in Africa.
Ghana is the UK's 4th largest export market in Africa. Thank you.
Mr. Philip Sigley, Chief Executive Officer of FCC, took the floor to speak on the topic, propelling Ghana into a middle-income country. Is fair trade the key?
Does the fair trade concept have a major role to play in poverty reduction in Ghana, and will it drive the necessary changes to become a middle-income country?
In his speech, he stated that although fair trade is growing quickly with a total sales increase of 46% to 220 million, an expected increase of 550 million by 2012, it is still a small proportion as compared to the mainstream trade measured in trillions of pounds.
The UK is probably the leading market for fair trade products, and during 2006, total sales grew by 46% to 220 million per annum, and will grow to 550 million by 2011, according to Mintel.
As the business climate has improved in recent years, increasing numbers of companies are investing in Ghana, but the upcoming scene is still a very difficult one, and investment in the vital engine room of agriculture and rural livelihood is one way government must take the lead and embrace mainstream trade in the process. If this were to happen, then it will make a significant contribution to Ghana's GPRS2 objectives.
Increasingly, companies are investing in Ghana as the business climate has improved in recent years, but the upcountry scene is still a very difficult one, and investment in the vital engine room of agriculture and rural livelihoods is one where governments must take the lead and embrace mainstream trade in the process. If this were to happen, then it would make a significant contribution to Ghana's GPRS2 objectives.
In concluding, Philip Sigley stated that fair trade and other niche sectors are a welcome part of the global cocoa market, and they are happy that consumers have alternatives to make such choices.
Ladies and gentlemen, fair trade and other niche sectors are a welcome part of our global cocoa market, and we are very happy that consumers have the option to make such choices. However, the mainstream alternatives to fair trade, if properly supported, will achieve far greater impact on poverty and achievement of Millennium Development Goals than some of the narrow focus areas. If there is one thing I would like to all take away from this debate today, it is not to be unfairly prejudiced about the change that sensible activity between governments, donors and trade industry could bring about. Please convince our public sector decision makers to do more in this respect, and that over-reliance on fair trade and other niche markets for the benefit of a few will be massively unfair on millions of poor people in terms of the time taken to reach where we all want to be.
Dr. Lawrence Akwete, Director of Siegel Trade and Development Consultancy, also spoke on the same topic. Firstly, he acknowledged that fair trade will contribute hugely to taking Ghana into a middle-income country.
Fair trade will contribute hugely to taking Ghana into a middle-income country. I'm not sure about the word solution, but contributing to take Ghana to that status, I'm pretty sure.
He further stated that the prime objective of fair trade concept is to develop access to markets in developed countries by producers who tend to be marginalized by conventional trading structures, and it also aims to assist disadvantaged producers.
The prime objective of the fair trade concept is to develop access to markets in developed countries for producers who tend to be marginalized by conventional trading structures. Free trade focuses on producers where employment practices, environmental management, and worker participation structures meet international fair trade standards. It also aims to assist disadvantaged producers.
Dr. Akwete also raised the issue of indirect practices such as sanitary and phytosanitary standards of goods, levels of aflatoxins, general quality of consumer goods and packaging standards, which are used by the international market who claim to comply with the WTO standards to prevent goods from developing countries from entering the international market.
Some international buyers of Ghana's cocoa, like we have some here today, as we have seen earlier, strive to observe the rules of fair or free trade and give reasonable concessions and rewards to producers and of the primary product like cocoa. This sometimes reflects quite positively in the producer price that the cocoa farmer receives. However, it has also been observed that other buyers who make sure that the outer world sees them as observing the WTO rules use other indirect practices such as standards and technical barriers to stifle the exports from developing countries to the markets of the developed world. With these barriers in place, Ghana and other developing countries lose eligibility for preferential treatment under the WTO rules.
In his conclusion, Dr. Akwete stated that with a fairer trading system, developing countries like Ghana will receive income that will help their balance of trade positions. Also, significant numbers of people can escape poverty and increase their quality of life, and countries like Ghana will be able to take positive and giant steps towards achieving middle-income status.
Some non-government organizations see the WTO as catering to rich country interests at the expense of the poorer ones such as Ghana. Civil society groups are consistent in their message that with a fairer trading system, developing countries like Ghana will receive income that would help their balance of trade positions. Significant numbers of people could escape poverty and increase their quality of life, and countries like Ghana will be taking positive and giant steps towards achieving middle-income status. Thank you.
Sophie Tranchel, the Managing Director of Divine Chocolates Limited, spoke on the benefits and effects of the fair trade farmer-owned business model to the local farmer. She mentioned that Divine Chocolate was established in 1998 and its mission was to improve the lives of small-scale cocoa farmers in West Africa by establishing a dynamic branded fair trade chocolate marketing company in a large UK chocolate market, thus putting farmers higher up the value chain.
Divine Chocolate was established In 1998, and its mission was to improve the lives and opportunities of small-scale cocoa farmers in West Africa by establishing a dynamic, branded, fair trade chocolate marketing company in the large UK chocolate market, thus putting farmers higher up the value chain.
Ms. Tranchell stated that Divine Chocolate's objective is to address the iniquities of the trading system, which creates a £3.6 billion market in the UK, but where farmers in Ghana can hardly afford to send their children to school and afford a basic health care.
We are trying to address the inequity of a trading system which creates a £3.6 billion market in the UK, but where farmers in Ghana can hardly afford to send their children to school and pay for basic health care.
Sophie went further to outline some of the benefits of fair trade to the farmer.
The farmers have 4 income streams from the Divine Chocolate Company model. They have the guaranteed minimum price, they have a social premium, which is at $150 a tonne. We also have a 1.5% of our turnover actually invested in developing the organisation and doing education on cooperative principles and values, and that's the last bit. So over the last year, our purchasing has been of $1,864,000 of cocoa and $174,000 of social premium and £125,000 of producer support. We haven't yet distributed a profit, and that's the final benefit that the farmers will get, but we do hope to announce a profit this year. As we have made a profit, we hope to announce a dividend, which means that there have been significant benefits to farmers, and those benefits have gone in year after year.
In her conclusion, Ms. Tranchell had this to say.
The success of the Divine brand and its unique relationship with proper cocoa proves that consumers are engaged and delighted by a trading vision that delivers high-quality chocolate products and creates tangible benefits to small-scale, low-income Ghanaian cocoa growers. Thank you very much.
Following the speeches, Mr. Isaac Osei, acting on behalf of the chairman for the event, His Excellency Anan Achin Keto, gave a brief summary of the day's proceedings.
I'm doing this on behalf of His Excellency Anan Keto, our High Commissioner. I believe he set the tone, in the context of Ghana's 50th anniversary of independence, and then invited Mr. Osei, who gave a historical account of Ghana's cocoa industry, and assured the gathering that Ghana will make the investments in the cocoa sector to sustain the gains made in production and use that as a platform for scaling up production. Phil Sigley made it quite clear that he believes that mainstream cocoa is what will probably lead to reduction in poverty, in view of the fact that the fair trade market is yet very small, and that the growth, the question of Ghana reaching its GPRS 2 goals of $1,000 per person can probably be best attained if we come up with economic sustainability targets at the rural level. He emphasized the EU strategy, which really broadly based also talks about sustainable growth by boosting agriculture. Rosemary brought us greetings from the mayor's office and emphasized the need for all to support fair trade. She was hopeful that many more London boroughs. Dr. Akwete emphasized that fair trade was really a partnership between farmers and buyers, but he decried the difficulties with tariff escalation and tariff peaks as they relate to value-added production. I think Sophie, ending this day, said that the most important thing that has happened is that a fair trade market has actually been created. She feels that the benefits of the arrangements, especially considering the benefits which go directly to the farmers, it's a model that we all should be interested in.
At the end of speeches, the audience were invited to direct questions to the members of the panel.
Hi, my name is Richard Anim of the Richard Anim Group. To the panel, the questions to the panel. Can anybody tell me, out of a single pound that you generate from cocoa, what percentage actually goes to the farmer?
Let me say that I think I indicated in my contribution that 72% of the net FOB is paid directly to farmers in Ghana. That is what we paid last year. It used to be much less than that. But as a result of an established government policy, we are currently paying 72%.
Dr. Emmanuel Akufo, I live in London here. I work within the National Health Service. I have been very impressed by what I've heard this afternoon from all the speakers. And in particular, I would like to ask the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Cocoa at the moment about the Cocoa Marketing Board scholarships, which have been made available to the children of farmers over the years, and whether it may be possible, in partnership with the FCC and other international organizations, whether it may be possible for them to contribute somehow to this very important scholarship scheme, which has enabled most children in the very rural areas of Ghana to have credible education. Thank you.
Well, I think this is a question which I will pass on to Phil. Let him tell us whether FCC is interested in joining us, since a partnership is what we are all seeking in supporting the Cocoa Board Farmers Trust. Perhaps.
I can't hear today. It's one of those sort of longer-term projects that you would like to think we could get somewhere towards, but I suspect if the scheme was put forward to us, we could certainly put it to our members as a suggestion. I would certainly be able to receive further details.
My name is Dr. Bernice Akiwumi Asani. What efforts are made to try and encourage the cocoa farmers by publicizing the cocoa production and who is doing well so that people can emulate from them?
Every year in Ghana, at National Farmers Day, recognition is given to an individual who is identified as the best national cocoa farmer and his or her runner-up. 2 years ago, it was a lady from Sankore, Abroom, who won the national award. Part of the prize is to bring them here for the Royal Agricultural Show. You know, this is entirely financed by Cocoa Board. And then a 4-wheel drive pickup is also donated to that farmer. So recognition is given by the state to at least 2 farmers every year. And then at the district and regional levels also, we give recognition to our cocoa farmers. It is interesting that you are the progeny of the Akumis. I know you are probably based here. We hope you come back home and continue with the work which your forebears started.
My name is Yemi Adewale of Cocoa Producers Alliance. Comment on the report of the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Cocoa Board. The commendable effort by choosing 14th of February as Chocolate Day. I'm very impressed about that, and as much as possible, I want the Chief Executive to propose this to the Cocoa Producers Alliance so that we can adopt it as we adopt 1st of October as Cocoa Day, so we can adopt 14th of February as Chocolate Day so as to enhance our generic promotion of cocoa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's something that we will discuss with our COPAL brothers and sisters, because the cocoa producing countries consume a very minuscule amount of the world production of cocoa products. So perhaps we need to do more on them.
My name is Mr. Tekrifi. I live in London. For over 50 years now, we know that the emphasis on cocoa has been on production at the farmers level and marketing at the government level. Now, I want to know if there are any long-term plans of making Ghana the Silicon Valley of cocoa production so that we can have the Mars bars and Twixes of this world in Ghana. Thank you.
There are many processing companies in Ghana. I can mention a few. There's Barry Callebaut, the world's biggest chocolate manufacturer, who is producing nips and liquor in Ghana. Cocoa Processing Company producing chocolates, nips, liquor, cocoa cake. There's West African Mills Company producing various items, using even low-grade cocoa for its production. We are expecting Cargill of the United States, the biggest food processor in the world, who have already started, the process of putting up their factory. So you can see clearly that the trend is towards more processing. But as we upscale production, we expect more light crop, because those are the arrangements that we have made, so that we can continue to satisfy our existing traders and customers way into the future, even as we upscale production. I just want to thank everybody for coming, and I thank especially our panelists for beautiful work done.
After a successful seminar, a cocktail reception was held in the London living room, where the guests were treated to live Ghanaian music and an African art exhibition.
What's your impression of today's event, being the man in charge of trade in the UK?
Well, as you are all aware, cocoa is so important to the economy of Ghana. Okay? That aside, the presentations that we had this evening as to how the cocoa industry started and where it is going to go and how it can help government to achieve its objective of becoming a middle-income country by 2015. Obviously, the role of cocoa is so crucial. And you agree with me that Ghanaians have worked so hard, but especially cocoa farmers. They have been so dedicated, and what they have done for Ghanaians, we need to celebrate.
I've been buying cocoa beans from Ghana for about the last 28 years. With my current company, Noble Resources, the last 5 years. I'm a trade house, therefore a middleman between Ghana, the origin, and the big manufacturers of the world. I'm 100% confident in the Ghana performance, both in performance to contract and quality, above all quality. We know that Ghana quality is the best. It's the benchmark for all the other qualities in the world. And I'm very pleased to be here tonight to celebrate that consistency of quality and performance.
It's been a fantastically organized event. I think the key issues surrounding the cocoa industry in Ghana have been brought to the fore. I'm quite interested. I think the key issues for us observers or the Joe Blocks on the street is the key issue about the farmers and ultimately how much actually goes down to the farmer. We've had issues about the fair trade and the initiatives, which are all laudable, but ultimately I think a lot more could go down to help the farmers. So that's my concern, and obviously in the next year or two our consultancy will be directing our affairs to the cocoa industry in Ghana and see how we can add value to some of the work they're doing.
Occasionally we do talk, say so many things, put them on paper, but in the end it ends nowhere. That is my problem. People have given many wonderful comments how to improve the lives of the cocoa farmer, the poor cocoa farmer in Ghana, education, housing, electricity, feeder roads, but I'm wondering where it might end.
We are very pleased, first by the turnout, not just of Ghanaians, but also of people in the industry. Well, I think the issues were very well addressed. I think Phil Sigley, Chief Executive of FCC, made the point that fair trade is important, but it's very small, it's a niche market. And looking into the future, that may not be the way to reduce poverty generally in Ghana, but it does help some farmers to develop their own areas, and it provides a little more money for some of them. So fair trade is good, but because it doesn't have wide application, its general effects may not be what one would expect, yes.
It's so vital that cocoa, being one of the pivotal kingpins of Ghanaian economy and our population, should be featured in the way it's been shown tonight. It's wonderful, the speakers were wonderful, the chief executive was at his best, and everybody is happy because this is the way to showcase Ghana from our agricultural background and the colors of our country.
It's been very, very significant, because cocoa, is the mainstay of our economy. And for us to celebrate Cocoa's Day on Ghana's 50th anniversary, I think it's very, very significant, and I'm really, really impressed about the achievement that cocoa has managed to bring to Ghana over the years.
We are involved in cocoa processing, chocolate processing, and it's a family-owned business, which is quite rare nowadays in the cocoa world. It's a pure Spanish family business. I think Ghana has a fantastic image in the cocoa world, and all the cocoa industry is relying on the cocoa Ghana is providing. And I think it was a fantastic day, very interesting speeches, and I think everybody here was very happy to attend this meeting.
I thought it was very interesting. It brings together the Western world and the African world on issues which are quite important, like fair trade and all these issues, and they need to be addressed, and I'm very supportive of this event. We are very involved. We were bringing the new logistic systems of bulk transport of cocoa to Ghana, which resulted that for the moment Ghana is the only West African country who has the facility of a complete dedicated bulk terminal and a complete dedicated bulk container freight station in the port of Takoradi, who is handling actually over 200 to 220,000 tons a year in close cooperation and on behalf of the Cocoa Board of Ghana. We are very grateful for this opportunity. We did do quite a lot of investment, but we are happy to contribute to the people and to the Republic of Ghana for that.
I think it's been wonderful for the Cocoa Trade of London to come together and celebrate the anniversary of Ghana, 50 years for Ghana's independence. It's been a truly wonderful day.
Now, how involved are you in the Ghana cocoa industry?
Okay. Olam itself has been the first international company to set up as a licensed buying company. Today we're one of the largest, buying over 100,000 tonnes a year of Ghana cocoa and delivering it to the Cocoa Board. We're heavily involved with many farmers in Ghana today and their families and the communities that we operate in. More so than that, we're very strongly supportive of the Cocoa Marketing Company and a major buyer from them to sell to all of our chocolate manufacturer customers.
Are you UK based or?
We're UK based in the cocoa business. Olam is based in Singapore. It's a public listed company in Singapore, but most of the cocoa activity happens out of London.